Let's update our fabric mod from 120.2 to 120.4. Alright, friends, back and tell you once more, and in this tutorial we're going to be updating our project over here to 120.4. Now before we do this, I want to throw out a big disclaimer, and I'm going to say that this is absolutely not necessary. I personally suggest you don't do this. I still want to make a video about it because people have been asking for it, but I definitely recommend you don't update to 120.4 because there really is no need for it. On Fabric, 120.2 is pretty much the version most people are playing, and also there are some very strange workarounds that we need to do over here in order to get this going. But let's update regardless, and let's see what we need to do for that. Of course, in our Gradle properties file, we need to update the numbers over here. And of course, I will link the Fabric develop page in the description below again. Now, I already have those numbers over here. So let's just get them over and I'll just copy them over. You can see 120.4, the build is 0.3, 15.2 in the loader version. And then right here, we have Fabric version 0.91.2 for 124. So we're gonna actually load this once again. The build over here takes like up to a minute or so, shouldn't take that much longer. And then we can get to the dependencies because of course they're all the old dependencies and there's a couple of, well, interesting things that we need to do there as well. But for now, let's just let this run through until it's done and then we can proceed from there. Well, there you go, 28 seconds. It might take a little bit longer for you, but no worries at all. Just wait until it is finished and then we can proceed here. So first thing is going to be roughly enough items. Roughly enough items has updated to 14. So this is now version 14.0.687. And that is going to be the same thing here. So this is 687. There you go. Now for roughly enough items for this to update, you also need both the cloth config as well as architecture as a API over here. So we're going to add this. These are the two things that you need to add. Otherwise, you don't have access to the math library in roughly enough items, make it not viable to use the rectangle or the point classes. And then using architecture, you have to do this to use the entry stack. I don't know why this is the case. I've not found anything on the Discord or anything like that, but this is a workaround that will work. So if you add those two as the mod APIs, then that should be fine. Next is the Terraform Wood API, and that has updated to version. So this is V1, and then we have 9.0.0-beta.2. So this is the name over here. There you go, beta.2. TerraBlender has updated to 120.4, and then we are at version 3.3.0.3. And then Cryptonaut over here for the custom portal, that has just updated to 120.4, and that is it. So this should be everything that we need. This is going to be in the description below as well, so that you can basically just copy it over. And if you are watching this in the future, you can basically just go to each of the GitHub repositories for each of the different mods over here and take a look if there's a new version available, but those should work for this version as well as this version for Fabric, so that should be fine. So let's once again load the Gradle changes, and once that is done, we have some amount of changes that we need to do in a bunch of classes, but we'll do that one step at a time. First of all, let this run through, and then we can change the stuff afterwards. Alrighty, once again, for me, only 22 seconds, but it might take a little bit longer for you. Just stay patient and let this run through. And the easiest way to do this is, well, I mean, really just run the client, and then the first error that's going to be thrown our way is what we're going to fix. So the first thing here is the mod recipe provider in the data gen. So you can see that the recipe JSON provider does no longer exist. Now, interestingly enough, I don't think we actually need this at all. So we can just press Control, Alt, and O to remove it, and then we should pretty much be good to go. Then we can run the client again, and we're going to get the next error, which is the sapling. So the sapling is very interesting because that has changed again, because there is never a update for Minecraft that does not include changes to the world gen, let's be honest. So right now, so what happens here is that we're no longer creating a custom class for this. We're actually just making a mod sapling generator class, and then we're just creating that in a new field. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this. We're going to press Control Alt O again. And then this is no longer the chestnut sapling generator. We're actually going to change this. So click on this, Shift F6, and this is now the mod sapling generators class. There you go. And this will have a public static final sapling generator called chestnut, and this is going to be equal to the new sapling generator. ID is going to be chestnut. Then we're going to have a rare chance of 0f. I'm going to do optional.empty. And then I'm going to have the optional.empty again, optional empty again. Then we're going to have an optional.of mod configured features.chestnut key. And then 3 more optional empties over here. Once again, of course, all of the code is available to you in the description below in the GitHub repository. And there we go. Now we have our custom sapling generator. We now need to go to our modblocks class, and a lot of errors are going to be thrown our way. And then here, instead of making a new one, we just want to say mod sapling generators.chestnut, and now our chestnut sapling is going to work. And while we're in the modblocks class, we can also change this. So most of the changes over here are just very strange. So for the trapdoor in the door, just the order of parameters has changed. So we want to take the fabric block settings and put them in as the second parameter. I don't know why they did that. That seems like just a very strange change, but maybe they want to make this more consistent with other blocks. But there you go. A similar thing is right here, right? So we just want to get the fence gate over here. There we go. The activation rule no longer exists in the pressure plate. So you can see now you want the block set type here as the first parameter. So we're going to change this up like that. So we now have the iron type and then the fabric settings, similar to the button over here where the block set type, then the press ticks, and then the settings come in. So we want to take the fabric settings over here and replace the true with that, and there you go. And for the experience drop block, the same thing goes. First the in provider, then the abstract block settings. Once again, I don't know why they changed the order of this, but you know, it is what it is. So we're just going to do exactly that. I just basically select this, press Control X to cut this out, and then make a comma and paste it in with Control V. Nothing too crazy over here. And as always, of course, all of the code available in the description below. This is not too difficult. If there are any other errors that you might have, just middle mouse button click on the class and take a look at what changes were made in the constructor, basically the parameters over here. And then you should be able to figure this out. No issues if there are any other classes that have changed. Right, let's run this again. I think there was 1 or 2 more things. Yes, indeed. So we are now in here with the block entity, and there is a change, and that is actually a change that is scary, because it's going to be scary. Okay, just brace yourselves, because we are in a custom block over here, in a custom block class, and if I were to implement the method that we need to get the get codec method. So the get codec method, as you can see, of course, we need to fill this with something. Luckily, the thing we can fill this with is fairly straightforward. However, this is starting to get scary, because if we look into any block class, right? So if I middle mouse button click on this and I click on the block and I say Control H over here to look at any block, right? Let's say TNT block. You will be able to see that the TNT block has a codec right here, and every single block has the get codec method. In the highest level overview, this basically allows you to somehow create JSON files for blocks. Now, this is a good thing or a bad thing. This is to be determined. The data packingization of Minecraft Java Edition continues with this, basically making more and more things possible with JSON files. While this is great for data pack developers, there is yeah, we'll see where this goes. We'll see the full implementation probably in 121. It's going to be a wild ride. Let me just tell you that. But what we need to do here is actually fairly straightforward. Public static final map codec of type gem polishing station block. This is going to be called the codec equal to gem polishing station block dot create codec, and then passing in the constructor over here, and then we can return this. There you go. So it's not too complicated over here. Luckily, there is the create codec method, which basically handles everything else. We don't need to do this for any of our other blocks because they are all simple. And then I think we are almost done. Let's see. Let's run the client again. Let's see. There you go. Yes, of course, the recipe codecs over here has changed again. But luckily, this is also not too bad. That instead of in the recipe codecs, this is now in the item stack. So the codec item stack.recipe result codec. So basically, the fields that you're using for codecs have changed their location to be in whatever they create, right? So this codec is obviously for an item stack. So having this in like a weird util class doesn't make any sense. So it is now instead of the class that it actually creates. That's the general idea. I actually think this is a pretty good change. But yeah, man, codecs are coming. It's going to be a wild ride. Right, I think then let's run this again. I think that we should be good to go. It looks pretty good. So let's see. But I think that this is everything that we need to do. As long as you've updated all of the different mods that we need and have made all of those changes, we will be able to see we are here. Let's make a new world. The world should be compatible with older versions, so there should be no issues. I do like to create a new world, so once we are in there, let's see what we can see. All right, and here we are, and you can see our trees are still spawning, so the trees all work totally fine, and you should be able to see that everything else here should also work fine. We can still throw our dice over here. Our metal detector should work, no issues whatsoever, even with a custom sound. Gem polishing station all works over here. We still have the recipe thing is still on the wrong position, but that's okay. So you can see, we can still see REI recipes, and the recipes also all still work totally fine. So yeah, that basically everything should still work totally fine after those changes. Even the boats and stuff like that, which were, you know, a little bit of a more complicated thing, right? Including the signs, for example. Yes, they do still work. So that's pretty much everything that we need to do to update to 120.4. Like I said, it's not strictly necessary, but 121, that's when the changes are probably going to be pretty freaking crazy. As per usual, the Java introduction is going to continue, and then starting January, we're going to have a couple of showcases, and then we'll see where it goes, but that's going to be it for this tutorial right here. YouTube thinks this is the video you should watch next. Hope to see you there. So, yeah.